we develop products in the fields of interior design by my brother and business partner Till Richter, and in fashion and textiles by me. To make our design process visible, we have set ourselves two main spaces, or maybe you can say also frameworks. The one space is for our editions, and the other space are for the projects and researchers, and something like a lab. This space, all products are developed in 3 variations of production. So the first is the yellow variation, it's the DIY. Then there is the blue variation, the industrial. And then we have the red variation, it's the craft variation. In the DIY variation, we offer free construction kits with measurements and simple instruction how to build the product by yourself. And in the industrial variation, we develop the product by evolving certain standards or rules that enables us to realize a serial production. So for industrial products, the standards or rules we set are, for example, simplicity, clarity, and of course, affordability that guides the manufacturing processes. Craft edition, the focus lies on the unique way how to design a one-of-a-kind product. So the question here is what makes a product unique? And this question we try to explore with, for example, handcraft materials, or simply the artistic idea behind the product. Then I show you some products we already did to give you a little overview. So the topic of the pullover comes from the kimono, which I dealt with in an earlier project. And what I was, I'm still interested in is how the value of the fabric is maintained until the finished product. I think it's a great topic for in terms of sustainability, because this is an extremely appreciation of the textile. To make sure that everybody knows the kimono, here you can see how a kimono is constructed. The bolt of fabric at the top divided into the pattern pieces, and I hope you can see the numbers in the image in the kimono on the right side. They show you which part of the bolt of fabric it is. So the kimono are traditionally made from a single bolt of fabric. The entire bolt is used to make one kimono, and the fabrics for a kimono are handmade and hand decorated. And because of that, the pattern of the kimono is more significant than the cut of the garment. For the pullover, I was working on the construction of a very simple shape, to ask the question what the form or the shape means in the production of a garment. We already said that I'm specialized in knitting, and because of that I was thinking about shaping of a garment in knitwear. So when it comes to knitwear, there are basically 2 ways that the shape of the garment can be made with machines: the fully fashioned and the cut and sew. And at fully fashioned knitwear, the individual pieces are more engineered, so that each garment piece is made with no extra fabric, and the pieces are basically knitted together at the seams. And when you are producing flat fabric, you can create shape by increasing and decreasing the numbers of stitches in the row. But increasing and decreasing takes a lot of time. So I was thinking to reduce the time by simplifying the shape. So basically this is the shape of the pattern of the pullover. The garment is knitted in two pattern pieces, front and back, and both have exactly the same size. And I am working on a mechanical knitting machine. So I start the piece with the arm. For example, on the sketch you see it on the right or left side. And have only 2 increases and decreases and 2 markings for the neckline. And in cases of knitwear, tying seams together is also a great expenditure of time and money. But with hand knitting, you have the opportunity to knit without seams traditionally. So in contrast to the flat shape of the rectangle, in the craft edition, I wanted to highlight the 3-dimensionally seamless piece, which is traditionally achieved by hand knitting. So here you can see an extract of the instruction sheets at the top of the page on the right. In terms of how to create a pullover by yourself, I was thinking about that the shape of the rectangle is a great tool for beginners and also to achieve individuality in product. The maker do not have to know about increases or decreases, just cast on, knitting straight and cast off. And by this, the producer has a very easy way to explore how to make a shape. And yeah, and so what does it mean when you make the rectangle gets bigger, or when you make it a little bit smaller? So you can try to experiment with the instruction a little bit. Yeah, and with these 3 main product lines, we offer the public to deal with the fabrication of products. On the other hand, it allows us as a designer to explore fabrications in terms of fabrication we do not know or we like to discover. And of course, every product we develop is a purely individual solution. When we design the 3 variations, there's no non-plus-ultra solution that says how a product has to look like. One addition, there are so many possibilities to go deeper into the production way. And because of that, there's always room for reinterpret the product or to go further with the project. And for that, we build the space, we call it currently the lab. And in this space, we are doing all kinds of different projects. For example, interiors, or we build new products. And by that, I mean going into a research or dealing with special topics like material, sustainability, manufacture. Yeah, or we are making collaborations with artists. And here, for example, you can see an ongoing project in ceramics. The field of ceramics for example, is a rather new country for both of us, where we can try things out and familiarize ourselves with the material itself. So here you can see self-made tiles we can use for interiors, for example. And on the right side, you see the tiles which we developed together with artist Suse Bauer. And with this, or these kinds of projects, our main concern is to develop an efficient way of producing artistic works as a series. Yeah, this is also a project we did with Suse together. The Kunstverein Griffelkunst in Hamburg requested Suse's artworks, the cucumbers, you see on the left, 400 times or pieces. And because the cucumbers are actually formed and made by hand, she asked us to produce them like an addition. So to make it as efficient as possible, we built a machine for Griffelkunst, so that the cucumbers could be produced serially, at least in the first step, then afterwards proceeds by hand. Here we developed 3 overalls for the sculptor Angela Anzi for a performance at the Kunstverein Harburger Bahnhof. And during the process, the question of the meaning of costume in an art performance came up. Like, is it part of the art and part of the performance? Is it therefore to be sold as a total work of art? And what happens if you sell the overall from the idea of the artwork now as a product? So this is still a great issue of the arts and craft, the border between design and art. Yeah, and what is the difference, and where can you set the boundaries between design and art? And that's something what we are very interested in. Yeah, together the 3 variation lines and the lab represent Sammlung Walter. So as you can see, there is a lot of diversity, but these processes, researches and projects are all related to each other and all explore how we are making things and how products are made in general. And we hope to encourage people to get involved with products and to think about what is the value of the product and the time behind that. And that was the introduction of Sammlung Walter.
Could you tell me how customers react to your products, and do they understand the difference in value of the different products, or do they always go for the cheaper one?
The instruction kits are for free, so they are, of course, the best to get involved with the product. So we sell it only online with our online shop, and you can always choose between the 3 variations. But if you want to buy, for example, a craft edition, you have to come in contact with us firstly, of course. So we don't have so many talks to our customers at the time for when they buy it. It's more For example, we are going to the Milan Design Week. Last year we were the first time in Milan, and this time, yeah, it doesn't work. It's a really, you can talk a lot about this topic, because there you can go very deep into theoretical topics, or talk about values, for example. And value is it's a great topic to talk, because everybody has another reflection on the value. And for example, the DIY variation is for some people the most inspiring, or the most has the most value for themselves, because you have to put your time into that.
What young designers are all interested in is your Sammlung Walter label the only source of income? Are you able to live from your from that, or do you have to support your label at the moment with other?
So we started in 2018, and we can't live from that, but most of our incomes comes from the project side, from the lab. So there is space, for example, for making interiors, and these are quite big projects. Therefore, we can grow slowly. But we decide that we want to grow very slowly. Think about the topics, and we don't want to make this whole idea of Sammlung Walter because of money. We actually want to develop another solution for customers. So that takes time, and of course it takes also time to go into fights like marketing and things like this. This we have to learn, of course, because both of us we are actually designers, and we have to learn about a lot. So yeah.